Dwight Eisenhower's decision to take nearly 300,000 American troops away from Bernard Montgomery was not sudden, emotional, or personal. It was a calculated move shaped by battlefield reality, alliance politics, and growing frustration. On the surface, it looked like a rebuke of Britain's most famous general. In truth, it was a turning point that revealed how much patience Eisenhower had already spent, and why Montgomery's influence was quietly fading. As Supreme Allied Commander, Dwight D. Eisenhower carried a burden unlike any other general in the war. He was not just fighting Germany. He was managing egos, national pride, political pressure, and competing military philosophies. For months, Montgomery had been one of his most difficult problems. Montgomery believed deeply in concentrated power. He wanted overwhelming force, meticulous planning, and deliberate movement. Eisenhower initially respected this approach. After D-Day, Montgomery was given enormous authority and resources, including large numbers of American troops temporarily placed under his command. The goal was a decisive breakthrough that could end the war quickly. But that breakthrough never came. Instead, operations dragged on, advances slowed, opportunities slipped away. Montgomery repeatedly demanded more troops, more fuel, and more time. Each request came with promises of decisive victory just ahead. Eisenhower waited and waited. Meanwhile, other American commanders were pushing forward aggressively, exploiting German weaknesses whenever they appeared. The breaking point was not one single failure, but a pattern. Montgomery's operations, most notably Market Garden, consumed massive resources and delivered limited results. Eisenhower had backed that gamble. When it failed, the cost was enormous, not just in lives, but in credibility. At that moment, Eisenhower began to reassess how much control Montgomery should have over American forces. There was also pressure from Washington. American leaders were growing increasingly uncomfortable with seeing U.S. troops placed under British command for extended periods, especially when progress was slow. The United States was now providing the majority of men, equipment, and supplies in Western Europe. Politically, it was becoming harder to justify Montgomery's dominance. Equally important was Eisenhower's changing view of the battlefield. By late 1944, the war was no longer about a single narrow thrust. Germany was weakening across a broad front. Eisenhower believed speed and flexibility mattered more than one grand, perfectly planned blow. That philosophy clashed directly with Montgomery's methodical style. American commanders like George S. Patton embodied that flexibility. They advanced rapidly, adapted under pressure, and exploited opportunities as they appeared. Eisenhower saw that these commanders could move faster if they had the resources Montgomery was holding. Taking 300,000 American troops away from Montgomery was Eisenhower's way of redistributing momentum. He did not publicly criticize Montgomery. He did not fire him. Instead, he quietly reduced his authority. British forces would continue operating, but American armies would increasingly fight under American command, pursuing faster, parallel advances. This decision carried risk. Eisenhower knew it could anger British leadership and bruise Montgomery's ego, but he also knew the alliance had matured. Britain needed American power as much as America needed British experience. The balance had shifted. Montgomery did not take the decision well. He viewed it as a loss of trust and an undermining of his strategy. Privately, he believed Eisenhower was choosing speed over safety and risking unnecessary casualties. Eisenhower, on the other hand, believed Montgomery was sacrificing opportunity in the name of perfection. The Ardennes offensive, when German forces launched a surprise counterattack, temporarily complicated this shift. Eisenhower again coordinated closely with Montgomery to stabilize the Northern Front. Critics later argued this proved Montgomery's value. Eisenhower did not disagree, but he also noted that recovery required cooperation, not dominance. After the crisis passed, Eisenhower did not reverse his decision. The troops remained under American control. The broad front strategy continued. Germany was pressured everywhere at once, denying it the ability to recover. What this moment revealed most clearly was Eisenhower's leadership style. He did not rule by confrontation. He ruled by adjustment. When a commander no longer fit the strategic moment, Eisenhower did not explode or humiliate. He rebalanced power quietly. Taking those 300,000 troops away was not punishment. It was prioritization. Eisenhower had concluded that Montgomery was no longer the engine of momentum he once hoped he would be. The war required adaptability more than caution, and Eisenhower chose accordingly. History often frames this decision as a clash of personalities. In reality, it was a recognition that wars evolve. Strategies that work at one stage can fail at another. Eisenhower understood that clinging to past assumptions could cost the future. By redistributing American troops, Eisenhower accelerated the endgame of the war. It was a subtle decision, but a decisive one. It marked the moment when Allied command shifted from deference to balance, from patience to pressure. Montgomery remained important, respected, and influential, but no longer dominant. And Eisenhower proved why he was supreme commander, not because he was the boldest general, but because he knew when to change course, even if it meant quietly pulling power away from a legend.